Don't want to forget. Okay, take two.
שמות עצם בתורה. בכלל יש שמות עצם בתורה? Of course there is, בוודאי. בואו נמצא אותם. וישם העבד את ידו תחת ירך אברהם אדוניו. עבד. עבד is a noun. ויברך הגמלים מחוץ לעיר. אל באר המים. תראו כמה שמות עצם מצאתי. Look how many nouns I found. גמל, באר, מים. חברים, אני כל כך מתרגשת להראות לכם עבודה מיוחדת שיש לנו בכיתה. קוראים לעבודה הזאת Miniature Environment Chumash. סביבה מוקדמת כממש. I'll roll the camera so you can have a better view on this one. אוקיי, חברים, כמו שאמרתי, קוראים לעבודה הזאת סביבה מוקדמת חומש. אנחנו עכשיו יכולים לקחת את שמות העצם שמצאנו בתורה ולשים אותם במקום הנכון בסביבה מוקדמת. Take the nouns that we found in the Torah and label the object in our סביבה מוקדמת, our miniature environment. עבד. עבד is a slave. גמל is a camel. מים. מים is water. Here, so can show me איפה יש לנו עוד מים. איש. man. שפחה. קיצר. עץ. tree. ארץ. land. אוכל. tent. מזבח. altar. תינוק. baby. וכבש. תראו חברים, הסביבה המוקדמת שלנו. שפחה. Over here, she's carrying a jug on her head. You could see the Eved. labeling the object in the סביבה המוקטנת, I will do the 3-period lesson, which is I'll ask them איפה עבד, and then they will point to the עבד. איפה תינוק, איפה כבש, and I will do the whole thing. And then I'll ask them, מה זה? מה זה? מה זה? מה זה? Basically, so they could show me, right? And after I'm done, I will collect all the labels, and I will ask them, and I'll give it out to the kids, and I will ask them to label everything. And then I will ask them if they have any questions or comments about the lesson, and they really do love this lesson so much. And I could totally understand them because it's so sweet, and it's so interesting, and it's so amazing. So they usually share what they know and the words and their experience, how they felt. And after that, I ask them, I tell them the follow-up work. And the follow-up.
Okay, so the follow-up work for this work is to do exactly this, to label, take the miniature environment, they carry it with both hands, they put it on a rug, and you can see the excitement on their faces when they know that they get to work with this. They label the miniature object in the miniature environment, and then they call the mora. I ask them to read it to me. So even if they're weak in Kriya, because, you know, after all, it is the beginning of the school year, I will ask them to read the short words, like gamal. It's very easy. Be'er, like just to see if they can read. But again, just be mindful not to pressure them, to see, you're just assessing their Kriya. So they read it, and then you tell them to write between 5 to 8 words, symbolize it in their machberet, right? And we'll symbolize it with a black triangle for noun, right? Okay. After this lesson, I wanted to say a few points about this lesson. You saw me carrying the Torah and putting it on a rug. I don't know how it is at your school, but we got a heter from a Rav, we did Shelat Rav, and we got a heter from a rabbi. He said if you treat your rugs the way that old people treat their tables, then you're allowed to put it on a rug. And we are very, very careful about not even putting our feet on a rug. So at the beginning of the school year, to really emphasize it, we put rugs almost all over the classroom. Just all over, and we play a game. We walk around and we put music. It's kind of like musical chairs, right? But no, not with chairs, and you're not removing any rug, but you try to see how mindful they are. So we're walking around. When we stop, they stop, and they always have to be sure that they did not step on any rug. So you just need to be very careful, because if your school, if you got a heter from a rabbi, that you could put Sifrei Torah on a rug, then you need to make sure that the students are following the expectation and they're not putting their feet on the rug. Okay, so even if they run or they walk to the other side of the classroom and there was many, many works on the way, they have to walk around the rugs. Okay, now I'm going to show you a few lessons that we give after this lesson. So this is kind of like the key noun lesson in the Chumash subject. And now we're going to have many lessons that will follow this lesson. Again, you could do it in any way that you would like. If you're men, then you could come with a talit holding a real Torah. In one year, I asked Rav Darren to do it, and you had to see it because there are other lessons going on in the classroom at the same time. But then all of a sudden they see Rav Darren coming with his talit and holding a Torah. Everybody's looking at him and they get so excited. That's how you also get them have the emotional connection with the Torah. Okay, so I'm going to mute myself and go to the Rav. Okay, so I actually carried my my camera, my computer, so I could see you and see if you have any questions. But if you see that I'm not like responding to you, just let me know. Okay. Okay, so this is the second lesson, because the first lesson is V'hi bin Aaron, when we introduced this work. So this is the second lesson. You come, you start the lesson, you ask them, Chaverim, bevakasha, let's label all this. And we do this. We label it, Shifcha. I'll emphasize on the Gamal. Okay, so we really do everything. We label everything. Eved, Gamal, Eved, Oil. Okay? And you do everything, you label everything. Okay, and once you're done with that, you're going to take the Ohel and you say, friends, we could really work with this, but it's so small. It's so small. You know what? I think I'm gonna enlarge it. Ohel. And then you say, I could really use this word, Gamal, but it's too small, so I'm gonna enlarge that also. Okay, so you use these two words and you ask them, what is it? Maze. And then they read Ol and Gamal. Nachon? So what does Ol means? You ask one of the students, who wants to volunteer actually, so I could ask someone. Miri, can I ask you? You're like in the center of my screen. I'm sorry that I keep on using you, but somehow you're always in the center. Okay, Miri, maze?
Ohel?
נכון, נכון, tent. מה אם אני אשים את האות הזאת, את האות ו' לפני המילה אוהל? Now, it doesn't mean tent. There is something else. This word, the meaning of the word is changing a little bit. I'll tell you what, Miri. Vav means and. And. So let's translate this. And.
A tent.
And a tent. יפה. Let's do it again, okay, Miriam? מה זה? Can you see it?
Gamal.
גמל, נכון. What is גמל?
Camel.
A camel. מה יקרה אם אני אשים את האות ה' לפני המילה גמל? Now it doesn't mean only a camel. What does it mean? It means, I don't know if you can see it, sorry. Okay, it means the camel, right? And we always symbolize our noun with, what do we symbolize it? And I just realized I called you Miriam instead of Miri, I'm sorry. So we symbolize it with noun. And a tent, the camel. Now I'm going to ask, Elias, do you wanna, are you there? Do you wanna unmute yourself? I don't know if you can hear me. Maybe I'll ask Daniela. Daniela, do you wanna unmute yourself? Okay, so Daniela.
Yes.
אם אני אשים את האות ה' ו' וה' ואת המילה אוהל, מה קיבלתי?
והאוהל.
Right, and what does it mean in English?
And the tent.
נכון, and the tent. Beautiful. You know how we call these letters, חברים? We call them prefix. And I know that Moratami taught you about this. And the are both prefix. Ve is a letter that is prefixed because it comes before a word. Sometimes you could have one prefix before a word, like this. Vegamal, and a camel. Sometimes you could have two prefixes. And the gamal. Okay, חברים? So today we learned two prefixes. And, vav, and hey, the. Okay, so the follow-up work for them will be writing this in their machberet with the same colors, right? Pink for vav, hey for light blue. We learned this in an article, and then you could see how the dikduk comes together with chumash, because like the lesson are kind of intertwined with each other. They might say, hey, but I remember this from a different lesson. Beautiful, great. So they make their connection, which is beautiful. So I will ask them to pick another noun from the miniature environment other than oil and gamal, and write two examples using the prefixes that we learned. Okay? Any question about this lesson?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, so you teach them as prefixes, not as a conjunction or a definite article?
No. Okay. Again, I would not dare to introduce this as a conjunctions, because this is a relatively early in the year, because my general teacher doesn't teach it conjunctions at this point to my first graders, and I never ever introduced the part of speech to my.
But later, like when they're in, let's say, upper elementary, will.
I mean, they will do it. They will do in second grade. They will already will know that this. Even towards the school year, they will know that this is conjunction. Okay. But they will make the connection by themselves. It's like they make the connection immediately when they see the ha. The ha is the, because they remember in an article lesson we learned that. So, yeah. Or even if I give this lesson and then I give an article, then they remember, oh, ha means the. So it's kind of go hand in hand. Okay, so this is the second lesson. So what do you think I will do in the third lesson? In the third lesson, I will do exactly this. I will review the previous knowledge. This is the previous knowledge, right? And I will add more prefixes. I will use more items, objects from the miniature environment, right? And I will introduce them to the same thing. So let's say I take Eved and Be'er, right? These are nouns. And then you introduce, now where is this? Oh, here. I will introduce, let me lower this. I'm trying to fit everything in one screen. Okay. I will introduce Lamed, which is 2 or 4. Okay, 2 or 4. I will introduce Bet, which is in or with. Do you see the colors? Does the color pass? This is green. This is preposition, but I don't call it preposition, right? It's just green, but you need to make sure that when they do the follow-up work, they always use the right colors. That's why they always have coloring pencils in the kalmarim, okay? And I will also teach them mem, which is from. And I will ask them to do exactly that. In the lesson, I will use different combination. La eved, to the slave, to a slave, sorry. I will use two prefix. I will show them that you could use ve, la, eved. You could use all different combination, okay, with words. And the follow-up will stay the same. They need to copy this. They need to write down the translation, and they need to give 2 examples using the prefixes. I mean 3, because now it's 3 prefixes. So they need to use a noun and use this prefixes in 3 examples, okay? Now, what do you think will be the third lesson. This was the third lesson, right? So I'm sorry, at the end of the third lesson, after the follow-up, after they copy this and give me the example, they could start working on Lashon Torah in this workbook. And you could see that unit 1, it's prefixes. And by the third lesson, they already know me, they know hey, they know vav. So they can really do this. And the way they do it, they don't just color it in any color that they want. They would color it according to the parts of speech that we teach them in school. Hey will be light blue. Vav will be pink. Mem will be green. Okay, so it's not match it to whatever color you want. Okay, and the same thing. So they do always in their planner, they always have after the third lesson, Kita Kita Aleph will start having 2 Chovrot Chumash in their planner, on their planner. So that means that every time they get to Chovrot Chumash, they could just go on their own and do 2 pages. Okay? I use a little paper clip. I make a little simania, a book, a special, how do you call it? How do you say simania? I forgot. A bookmark, yeah. Bookmark. I put a little bookmark, yes. So when they finish, let's say you guys did page 4 and 5, you close it, you put it in my basket, I come, I check, and I said, okay. I guess the student forgot to use pink for end, right? And if I see more errors, then I will put a sticker on the following page, okay? And that sticker means stop. Come for a review lesson. Choveret Chumash lessons usually are given individually, not the introductions. Introduction to a concept will be given to everybody, but then, all the review lessons will be given individually. And if I see that a student is really on top of the Choveret Chumash and they're way ahead of the other friends, then I give them a lesson on their own. Okay, so over here, you could see after all the coloring and everything, they have practicing really like all the prefixes, me, ha, from the, and from the, right? They need to translate all that. Okay, so they could start, after the third lesson, they could start working with this workbook. Anybody has any questions about this lesson? Am I too fast? Am I too slow? Anyone? Okay, so I'm going to continue to the fourth lesson. The fourth lesson, obviously, I will be introducing more prefixes, od tchiliot. Kaf, which means like, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's dark blue. You see, it's adjective. But again, I won't say, oh, this is kaf, it's adjective. I will just say kaf. Shin, which means that, and kshe, which means when. And who can tell me what can I use in the classroom if this is too much for me and I just don't know what some prefixes means? What do I need to have? What do I have in the classroom, around the classroom that could help me?
A control chart?
Control chart. Every time they come and they work on their Choveret Chumash, they don't open the Choveret Chumash before they do all the layouts. So once by the fourth lesson that I give, they should know all the prefixes. They come, they take the basket with the prefixes from the shelf. And the bottom of the basket has a control chart. I don't flip it. I put it upside down and I set it up, and then I check myself. I check that I'm right. And only after that, I call a mora. The mora checks it, and then I could take my Choveret Chumash and start working on it. Every time that they work on the Choveret Chumash is 2 pages at a time, which means 4 pages in a week. Okay, and by the end of the school year, they're done. Okay, what? Yes.
Micha.
Mhm.
Okay, so I just want to reiterate just so I make sure that I understand. So they start off with learning the tchiliot like this. They don't touch the Chumash book or the booklet, the Lashon Torah booklet, until after they've mastered this. Yes?
No, they
And
learn
then-
Vav and Hey, the second lesson, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they do the follow-up where they give me example from the miniature environment using this.
Yeah.
Right. And then they
Yeah.
learn Lamed Bet Mem. Once they learn Lamed Bet Mem, I could already introduce the Chovat Chumash.
So then they can start doing the Lashon Torah book?
Yeah, because you could see that the first few pages,
Yeah, no, sababa.
it's a lot. It's they have 8 pages to do. Yeah. Okay. So that gives you a little.
I just wasn't sure if because I was just confused of when to start the Lashon Torah book, because we use that as well, but and then
so it gives you a lot of time.
Once you do that, then so does each time they do the workbook they have to do the layout?
Every time they need to, because they don't master it right away.
So that's why I was confused. Okay.
Yeah. So
they practice the layout, then they do 2 sheets.
Yeah, they really they use this rug, and they use this rug to guide them through, instead versus taking the control chart, when sometimes I find them like taking the control chart and just doing it by the table, and then I'm like, let's do it again. This is kind of like just buying you time, that you don't have to now work on the Chovat Chumash. Okay, so what after this? Okay, when they get to page 45, and they love it because it's they could really do it on their own. When they get to page 45, it's when unit 2, and what do you know? They are being introduced to plurals, which is suffix imot. I will make sure on the beginning of the year, or whenever I have time, I will go through everybody's workbook and I will put that sticker, so they don't go ahead without. It's very easy to lose them. And I will put stickers before each unit, so they don't go ahead. When they see that sticker, they say, oh, I need to come for a lesson, right? So I use the stickers for a lesson and also for review lessons. Okay, imot. And that's the imot lesson that we learned yesterday. Remember, with the miniature objects? Right? Chipushiyot, yeladim, chayalim, imot, that's the suffix. And then they could start really working in Lashon Torah. You could see over here, they need to circle the words that are plural, yada'im, right? Mekumot, ot. So we let them circle that, okay? And then we teach them another amazing concept. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you how we could use this in another work. Okay, so this is an extension for this. Okay, so let me collect that. If you have any questions, if I'm going too fast, if I'm not clear, let me know, okay? Okay, so so I'll show you how we did this work online. So if I don't get to this bag, please remind me. Miniature environment, סביבה מוקטנת. סביבה מוקטנת, משפטים, sentences. I will take a mishpat that we have here, but it's too small, so I decided to put it on this. So this is level number 1. I will do it in the beginning of after I taught them some of the prefixes. So I could technically do it after the 3rd lesson because they know what from means, okay? And then they will go to the kufsa and they will say, and who wants to volunteer to do this? Cyril, you with me? Do you wanna do it? Do you wanna translate this with me?
Sorry, I'm totally into something else, but tell me what to do.
Oh, no, it's okay. Do you want to
No,
do
tell
it?
me. Yes, for sure. I'll help you. Okay.
Okay.
And from the tree. So what am I doing?
So we are just translating this. So what is end?
Okay.
What
Ve.
prefix is it? Ve, right? So I'll go to my prefix box and I'll find ve.
Okay.
I have small
Ve.
fingers, so ve. Yeah. What is from?
Me.
Right, me. What is the?
Ha.
Right, the. What is tree?
Eitz.
נכון, יפה מאוד. Beautiful, thank you. ומהעץ. And now I need to find it. They have, when you work with this kind of material, you really understand how this is not a problem for them with their small, tiny little fingers. Okay. ומהעץ. Elias, I don't know if you're still here, but he asked me, how do you get them to really understand that it's one word? And when you come to the follow-up, when you check it, you try to ask them to put it close together. And you tell them, you know that this is one word.
Okay.
Isn't that funny? Because in English, it seems so long. And then you come, and Mar Michal tells me that this is one word. Okay? And then, of course, they always take this. Then
to sign it.
Me, ha, it's. Okay? Okay, so, well, I guess we'll have to use a little. And they use the symbols. Vemehaetz. I'm sorry if you hear footsteps. It's my kids running upstairs. Vemehaetz, and from the tree. This is basic. This is level 1. This is how they keep on working on the same noun in miniature environment. This is how they working on words that we definitely going to see in Chumash when we come to Chumash lesson. Okay? When there's second and third grade. Okay, Vemehaetz, this is level number 1. Let's see what sentence we can do once we already, after Tu B'Shvat, when Mor Michal already finished teaching us about verbs. And because we're first graders, we learn verbs in Hoveh. Okay? And then I come and they take this and they read, wow, the man sits next to the tent. And by the way, at that time, they also learn preposition because it's after the general studies teacher teach them preposition. Okay, the man sits next to the tent. The, ha, men, ish, ha-ish sits.
יושב.
Nachon, thank you. Yoshev, next to.
ליד.
Leyad. Yeah, Leyad, the tent.
האוהל.
האוהל. איזה יופי, נהדר. And now I need to find oil. Yeah, it's here. Okay. Ha'ish yoshev liyad ha'ohel. Can you believe this? Isn't that beautiful? Look, it's a whole sentence that they translated. And once they do this, then it's also easy for them to build sentences on their own, right? They will translate it and they will sometimes use the symbols to guide them. Liyad, ha, ohel. You could do it in your machberet if you want. You could copy it. So this is miniature environment. Now I'll tell you how we did it. It's not very sophisticated how we did it in virtual learning. The way that we did it, because we sell the works, right? We sell it to teachers. Then we could definitely not sell it, but send it to parents. So we made the file smaller, so they don't have 100 of vavs to cut and 100 of hays to cut and 100 of, verbs. We minimize the file and then we send them the file, and they had to, I made them a lesson of how to prepare this work. And they took Ziploc bags, which is so easy. And they symbolize one with noun. And they put all the noun words. And they symbolize the next one with conjunction, right? And all the prefixes inside. And then you see the adjective for prefix kaf. article for hey. I don't know if it passes the color, but all the parts of speech, shapes and colors, and all the verbs. And this, and of course, in the file was also attached a control chart for them to use. They had the control chart for the verbs, for the prefixes, and for the nouns, okay? And then every week, I sent them in English, two English sentences, and what they needed to do is use their bags to build the layout, right? Symbolize it over and send a picture of it. So that's how we did Sviva Muktenet on virtual learning. Anyone has any questions? I'm sure that maybe if you guys are very techy, you could maybe do it on Canva. Daniela, I have a feeling like you're using an electrical pad. Do you, for drawing? See, I'm so smart. Saw your follow-up work, yeah. And that's good. So,
it
so
makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, so it seems like, I don't know if you could raise it to the camera, but it seems that there are so many, there are so many things out there that you can, I actually found a pad for $31 that you could buy on Amazon, and you just use a pen and you draw the follow-up works. Yeah, it's beautiful. You can even draw, on Canva, you could make a game of nouns, the names on one side, like ish, ohel, right? Because how am I supposed to do miniature environment on virtual learning, right? So you could do something, this is just an idea, and I'm really, I have an idea in my head, but I haven't I didn't make it yet, but something like you could put ish, eved, eretz, ve'ohel, and on the computer, right? And then you could put miniature environment, like you could draw a miniature environment, and they could drag on Seesaw, they can drag the words to the right place and send it to you, send you their work. So that's kind of something that you can do. Again, I have the idea, but I still haven't made it. If this will actually, Bezrat Hashem, hopefully happen, then I will share it with you.
Michal, is that like an app, or what is that?
Canva is an app that you can, it's like people use it for, publicity, or graphic designers use it, I think. But you could like basically draw things and make it into works, I think. Okay. I wish Miriam was here, because I feel like she would be able to describe it. But yeah, I haven't worked on it, and I will share with you how it was, and if there's any works that I will be able to produce on, because we're not going to be distant learning, hopefully, Bezrat Hashem, at least not in the beginning of the school year, hopefully, right? Das is like smiling. So, hopefully everything will be okay and we can go to school. But I feel like, that we might have to deal with it, with distant learning again. Okay, so Sviva Muktenet. You saw how this work, the Sviva Muktenet, it's something that they could use early on in the year, and slowly, as they learn more concept, more parts of speech, you could put it in their sentences. Okay. Now let's see what we are going to do now. Oh, now we're going to learn the fun stuff, another fun stuff. I'm going to share a video with you. So let me see. I can do it without you getting the volume back up. Let me see. I'm going to mute myself and then go to the computer. Okay. You can't see me, right? No, you can. Okay, so now we're going to learn the Kelev rule, and it's pretty fun lesson. Okay, so I'm going to share a video with you. Before I share, I'm going to learn from experience that you always have to check what you do before you share. So Yeah. I can't find it on YouTube. Okay. That's not a big deal. Can we, let me see. I need to find that video that I uploaded. Just a second. Sorry. You guys want to take a break? Or we're good?
I'm good.
Actually, no. Here, just wait. Just bear with me for a minute. See, the prepared teacher. You gotta be prepared. Okay,
There's
so
always the computers, you know, we understand.
what we're going to do next, we're gonna come back to the Kelev rule. Or I'm gonna give it to you right now. I'm gonna give it to you. It's gonna be alive. Okay? I'm sorry about that. So let me connect again to Zoom because it just kicked me out from. Give me a second. So sorry. Okay. I'm gonna mute myself and I'm gonna go to the rug. Let me see. Do you guys hear me?
We hear you.
Okay, perfect. So let's see how we do the Kelev rule. No? Wait. No, on two screens or on one screen? Okay. And I will make sure to upload this video on the playlist, but if I don't, then it will be recorded anyway. Okay, so today we're going to learn the Kelev rule. Kelev rule? What do you mean Kelev rule? Well, what is a Kelev in English? Who can tell me what Kelev means in English? What is a
dog.
Kelev? Nachon, dog. And Kelev has the letters Kaf, Lamed, and Bet. Kaf, Lamed, and Bet, right? Kelev. So now we're going to use special nouns that we know already. We're going to use this noun. Who could tell me what this noun is?
Gamal.
Gamal, nachon.
Camel.
Camel. And we're also going to use this noun. Who can read this? And what does it mean?
Oil.
And what does oil means? A tent. Right. Okay. And we're also going to use another noun. Okay, and that is going to be a little tricky. Okay, because we didn't get to practice it a lot. I'm going to use this. What is this?
Chatzer.
Chatzer. Chatzer means yard. Okay, and these are all what parts of speech? These are all nouns. These are all shmot etzem. Okay. So if I want to say kegamal, what does it mean?
Like a camel.
Like a camel. But you know what, guys? I actually want it to be, I want to be like the camel. Like the camel. So,
Kehagamal.
Kehagamal. You see, so this is perfect, right? But oh no, what happened? Just like a dog that eats its food, the kaf, the prefix kaf, eats the hay and take away its nekuda. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Should I tell you why? Because it still means what I want it to mean. Because it still means like the camel. Mm-hmm. The kaf took the nekuda, but the nekuda is still there. It's as if the hay is still hiding. It's still in this kaf's belly. It's still there, like the camel. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna use this prefix now. We're very smart. What does lamed stands for? What does it mean?
Two.
So two.
To the tent.
To a tent.
To a tent.
But you know what? No, I'm not happy with this. I don't want it to be to a tent. I want it to be to the tent, because I'm talking about specific ohel. I'm talking about ohel Avraham. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to put my the, and now it's perfect. Leha ohel. Seems like Lamed wasn't very happy because Lamed decided to eat hay and take away its nekuda. But that's okay with me because because now it means la
it's more
ohel.
Specific.
Nachon, la ohel.
And a specific ohel.
Right, it still means la ohel that I wanted to be talking about, and it still means to the tent. I'm happy. Are you guys happy?
Yeah.
I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take this bet. I'm going to put it in front of the chatzer. So we said that this is yard. So what is b'chatzer?
Yard.
You can tell me.
In the
In
yard.
the yard.
In a yard. In a yard.
In a yard.
Right. But you know what? I really want to talk about my parents' yard. They have a huge backyard. So I'm talking about a specific yard. So I'm going to just put behe chatzer. Sounds cool, right? Oh no. Did it again. It happened again. The bet ate the hay and took away the nekuda. What we got here is be chatzer. But that's okay with me. The hay is still there. It still means in the yard.
So
And a specific chatzer.
Right.
what's
So
the base? What's under the base?
under the
What's under the bet to make it
bet
in the
segol.
segol?
Yefe. So, Chaverim, we started the lesson saying Mora was telling us about Kelev rule, and I showed you that the letters Kelev are right here, and those are the prefixes that are in the Kelev rule. Why do we call it Kelev? Two things, because these are the prefixes that are a part of the Kelev rule, and also because just like a dog who's hungry eats the food, those prefixes eat the hays and take away their nekuda. Okay? But the Kelev rule is composed of two parts. In order for the to still be there, you need to have prefix kaf or lamed or bet, and you have to have patach, kamat, or segol. If you see kaf with a shva, my friends, this is not a Kelev rule. Okay? And because you guys are so smart, I'm going to show you some tags and you're going to tell me if it's the Kelev rule or not. Who wants to, or I could pick, because I could see you. I feel like I have an enormous power.
With milk.
With, in
With
or
milk.
with?
In the milk.
In the milk, right? Or with the milk.
In the milk. It's Kelev rule.
It is the Kelev rule because
so
it's
question,
bet.
Michal. If it's a segol, then it's part of the Kelev rule?
Mm-hmm. Right here. Oh, you can't see it. Right here.
Okay.
I'm pointing. Kaf, lamed, bet, kamat, patach, or segol. With that, I said patach, kamat, and segol. Sorry. Yeah. So, bechalav is in or with the milk. Okay? Because this is Kelev rule. Livhema, is it Kelev rule, yes or no?
No.
No.
Why? It has a lamed.
But
because
it's not patach or segor.
Great. Beautiful. What about laez? Ez is a goat. Yes, it's a lamed
כן.
and it's a patach. So it is. Okay, so it means, what does it mean? To or for the goat.
To the specific
Is
number.
it? Yeah, is it a Kelev rule?
No.
No.
It's just,
No.
So there is no the.
no the.
Okay. What about kamayim?
Yes.
Yeah, right? We have the prefix kaf. We have patach, and it means like the water. Okay, and you could keep on doing it, but we have a few cards, and we do it at the end of the lesson just to see if they really got the lesson. And they love it, and every time that a prefix eats a word, you just hear them, they giggling, they love it. So, Kelevru. And now what we're going to do next is I'll ask you to go on Google Classroom if you haven't done so, and print the follow-up work, and we're going to do it together. Okay? I'm gonna mute myself and go to the computer. Are you guys good? Surviving? Yeah? So good? Everybody smiling. You're having so much fun. Okay, so let me just get my stuff. Okay. After the session yesterday, my son looked at me. He's like, "What happened here?" He's like, "You're all alone. How did you make this huge mess?" Okay, so we're going to do.
Which one is it? Which follow-up? Is it
a page that I scanned and I sent it on Google Classroom? Do you have it?
I don't see that.
You guys hear me?
You want me to? I need to print it out.
And my speaker wasn't on. Yes. Did you guys?
Okay, I'll do that right now. Sorry.
Okay. So if you could do it, that's perfect. And what we're going to do, we are going to try to do as many as we can on our own. And for like what, 5 minutes? Let's try to do as many as we can in 5 minutes. And then we're gonna answer it together to make sure that everybody got it. Pay attention to prefixes.
Can you repeat where the follow-up is, please?
The follow-up, yes. The follow-up is on Google Classroom under elementary training. And it's bottom, printing for Tuesday, August 8th.
Oh, okay.
Which one? What is it called? Is it follow-up for Tor Shem adjectives or?
No. It's,
because I don't see another one here.
Oh, printing for Tuesday, August 18th. And it says follow-up for training prefix. You see it?
Follow-up for, no.
I'll tell you what, it's not where the manual is. It doesn't say follow-up.
That's the one in Manila.
Bottom, printing for Tuesday. Maybe you need to refresh your page.
Would you like me to share screen to show it to her?
Yeah, sure. I mean, let me, oh, yeah, because I see it as a teacher. Can you share it, or do you need a permission? What?
So here it is. You go to this tag, then printing for Tuesday.
Leah, when you go into the Google Classroom, what do you go on to?
Work classwork. I don't know how it's in English. I have mine in Spanish.
For the classwork.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you go to the elementary.
Got you.
And then
okay, there you go.
Document. I'm gonna print it now.
Then,
would you like me to do it again?
So now what are we looking for? Follow up for our.
So it's PUW for training.
Yeah, follow up for training prefixes.
I cannot find it. I can't.
No?
No.
Okay, no pressure. Go to, let's do it. Can I share my screen because it's in English?
Yeah, I'll stop.
Okay, show you. I think it's the same layout because it seems like it is. So when you go to classwork over here, are you there? Yeah? Is it who it's Rita, right?
Yes.
You go to classwork and then you go to elementary training August 17 to 19. You go down, you see the last tab is printing for Tuesday, August 18th.
Ah, okay.
You click on that, and then the first tab of the top, follow up for training prefixes, that's a page.
Ah, okay. Let me check. Let me check.
And in the meantime, I'm just gonna set up the rug next to me.
So we only have to translate?
Yeah, translate it into English, okay, if you can.
Are we printing for training prefixes?
What? Yeah, we print. This is for training purposes. I mean, if you don't want to, that's fine. We're gonna do it together.
I have it actually.
Okay, so see that some are still working.
Yeah, I printed that long time ago.
Okay, so you could do as many as you can, but we're very soon we're going to do it together.
Are we just translating those?
Yeah, just translate.
Okay.
Like, okay, so pay attention to the prefix, suffix. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So Monica, the calf could mean when, keshe, it could mean like, ka'adama, no?
So kaf, the prefix kaf, we always teach them as like.
Like, always?
Always like. That's the prefix. That's how it is on the layout and all the works.
It's like.
Mora, sorry, I have to leave the table 1 second. What is the work now?
Oh, the work is on Google Classroom. In the print.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I think you guys, we're gonna go over the page now, okay? Right after we're done with that, we'll go on a lunch break, 40 minutes, and then we could come back and continue with Kita Bet and Gimel. So who volunteers to do number 1?
I do.
Okay, Rita, go for it.
2 fathers.
2, okay, so,
Abot.
right, so the lamed, is it the kelev rule?
Oh, sorry, la abot, yeah, 2 fathers, yeah.
I want to show you how we will be doing it with the kids, because this is actually a page from the Lashon HaTorah, from their chuveret, and the way that we'll do it, obviously I won't have the colors when I need it. Just give me a second. It's this. We will insist that they go and they circle it using the colors that we use. La in green, right? La. Patach should be in light blue. Why the sorry, not patach, kamat. Why is it in light blue? Because it's an article, it's a ha that's hiding there. So we really want to emphasize the Kelev rule that they could see it. So, right? So it's 2 or 4. The fathers. Why is it fathers and not father? Because
Ot, the ending.
the ot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so who wants?
So it is 2 their fathers?
2 or 4. So we write it like this: 2 or 4 the fathers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, who wants to do kshadam? Yes, Miri.
When a person or man.
Right. So when a man. So we will ask them to circle in pink the kshe and then adam. Okay, so 2 amen. Who wants to do number 3? Yes. Girl.
I have one question, Mora Michal.
Yes.
It's mukhrahit the hay with the patach or not?
Again, what was that?
It's necessary to do the Kelev rule that the hay with the patach and the lamet with the kamatz and the bet with the segot, or I can switch.
Daniela, you raise your hand. Is that because you want to answer? Yeah, Daniela.
No. I have a question.
Oh, you have a question. So I think that the rule has 2 components. Has to have kelev, kaf, lamed, and bet. Has to have the nekudot, patach, kamat. I can check if it's always if the lamed and each prefix always have the same nekudot, but for them, they just need to know these 2 rules. If it's only Kelev rule, it only means ha, which the, only if you have kaf, lamed, bet, kamatz, patach, segol.
I don't think the letters and the nekudos have to match up.
I think the nekudot every time in a different way. When I look at the work. Because I see over
So
here.
the question is, אני יודע מה זה הכלב. הכלב, the dog,
right.
with פתח. משנה משהו אם אני כותב הכלב עם קמץ?
No, because it's still hey, still
זו
dog.
השאלה.
Yeah. So I told you, like we are we always need to be very mindful how we write the nekudot with the kids, right? But I'm not teaching them how to be able to differentiate between kamat and patach. I do teach them to differentiate between patach and segol, right?
Okay.
Do I teach them between segol and sereh? No. But they still need to know the nekudot.
Or not knowing first grade.
Yeah.
לא בכיתה א'.
We actually go
אולי בכיתה ג', אולי בכיתה ד'.
Also kita gimel, the pronunciation by us is the same. So if I know that bait is really with kamatz instead of patach, I won't insist on the students to fix it and change it. And I feel like Rabbi Lindell, who teaches in I think a school that they do practice the Ashkenazi pronunciation, he also said that they don't emphasize it even in kita gimel. So I know.
כי יש לכם הבדל, איך אומרים, הבדל ברור. קמץ זה או, בשביל אשכנזי.
Not in our school, because we don't do Ashkenazi pronunciation. We don't teach קריאת התורה in lower elementary at least. אנחנו מלמדים עברית בעברית, ועברית בעברית, קמץ פתח זה
Okay.
Okay, so I hope I answer your question. And Daniela had also a question.
Yeah, for the number 2, kshe adam, right?
Mm-hmm.
kshe is kasher, right? Like in general,
Okay.
but that's not what we're doing. But I wrote that you guys said that it was when man,
When amen.
but
Because when we don't have a
when
kelef
man.
rule, then it's a.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But is the ke like ke adam ke?
Oh,
Is that
so
like?
every time, right. So every time the prefix, thank you, that's a very good question. Every time the kaf comes with a shin, it's kshe.
Kshe. Yeah, kshe.
It's not like when.
Okay. Okay.
Like
I wasn't sure how to.
Right. So it's together.
Yeah.
So that's when you take them back to the control chart and you say, "But do you see a prefix that looks like this? That is composed of 2 letters." Okay, and that's the kshe. So it's when amen.
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
Okay.
Now we're gonna skip. Okay, we're gonna do number. Oh, and for Elias, for your question, the letters. Now that I'm looking at the follow-up work, the letters don't always have to come. Like kaf doesn't always have to come with kamatz, and lamed doesn't always have. Lamed could come with kamatz. I think.
Have to be the three nekudot and the 3 letters.
Yeah, the 3 nekudot and the 3 letters. And you could.
It could be a combination. It could be a whatever combination.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, I wanted to show you in Lashon HaTorah and Kita Bet, the way that, no, sorry, Lashon HaTorah for Kita Alef, because we're doing Kita Alef. And now I can't find out. Oh, here. The way that they introduce it in the Kelev rule, and this we learned towards the end of the school year. He writes it like this: the equal hey equals segol kamatz patach. You see it? So I just basically go over at the top of the page. I wrote kaf / lamed / bet equals hey. I'm sorry, kaf lamed bet plus, in addition to kamatz patach and segol equals hey. And I write it over here. And then if I know a kid struggles, then I'll tell them, you remember what I wrote at the top of your page? Write it on the next page. Okay?
The next. So you can remember that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like something that they remember. You have to have the prefixes, you have to have the nekudah. Okay? So we're going to, because I want to release you to your lunch, we're going to do one more together. Okay? We're going to do number 11.
You want to do it?
Okay, number 11, who wants to take the lead on that?
Should I could try.
Yeah, you have it in front of you?
Yeah, so la, so that will be to the, aratzos, lens.
So it's right, so it's to, how did you know that it's the and it's not?
Because it's a kamatz lamed. So
right.
It's part of the Kelev rule and it has a kamatz, so it makes it to the.
Beautiful. So 2 or /4, right? 2 or 4, the lens, paratzot. So this is it. If you have any question about the follow-up, you're free to ask me.
Just the last one, keisha. So that doesn't, it's not included in the Kelev rule. So how would that be translated? Like woman?
Like, if I don't have the, it will be
like a woman.
Like a woman.
Like woman.
Like a woman.
A woman, yeah.
Not kehaisha.
No.
Like woman.
Like anyone. A woman.
Like a woman, any woman. Yeah. Not a specific woman. Yeah, keisha, like a woman, or a wife.
But you have to say ah. You can't say like woman. You have to say like a woman.
Can you say it in English?
Right, doesn't make sense to say like woman.
Like woman.
Like a woman, you would have to have an article.
Como una.
But you teach them, once you teach them the Kelev rule, they know it has to have a or an, right? Or the.
Okay.
Do you have this Kelev rule in one of your YouTube videos?
So I know that I made it because I fell asleep editing it. Remember that. So I think I just need to upload. I think it's on my phone and I need just to upload it from iMovie to.
Thank you.
Yes, Miri. Sorry about that.
Are you particular if a child doesn't write both in or with or to or for?
At the beginning of the school year, I will be specific that they do both, because then when we come to Chumash, I want them to be able to use their common sense. Is it in the or with the, right? Like sometime when they go with someone, you know, you don't want them to say in someone, they go with someone, just makes sense in English. Okay, so it sounds like Rabbi Lindell just joined us. And it's wonderful, Rabbi Lindell, to see you. Good morning, good afternoon. But I just want to let you, I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hello, it's wonderful to see you. But we actually were just about to, I'm taking questions now about the Kelev rule. And my computer, wait, is about to die. So I don't want it to happen. And, okay, I charged it. And we just reviewed the Kelev rule. And I'm taking questions now. So
Okay.
if you want to stay, and then they're going to go on lunch. So if you want to stay and I could tell you what we learned.
Okay, thank
Daniela,
you.
go for it. Daniela?
I now have two questions, but I think I might have forgotten the second one at this point. Okay, the first one was number 8. How would you?
I had the same question. What do you do? What's the sign when you have the same question?
You do that.
Right.
Right, the same. And use it in circle time. Sometimes they just like really want to say something. Yeah, that.
Yeah, so I had the same question as her 8.
So, kshe'ochel, it's when a food. You will circle kshe together. It's not like that food. Like that food. You would say kshe. Kshe'ochel muchan. Kshe'ochel muchan. So.
But it's not the, right? It's not.
My question is does the reason that we know that is ochel vela not ochel is because we're talking about nouns?
No, because it's much simpler than that. It's because ochel is food at the top in the word bank.
Oh.
Right? So sometimes when we know so much, then it's comes, but for first graders,
I think it depends
overthinking
on
it.
There's no verb.
It depends on the segol and the
No
serelo.
verb.
Wait, I can't. What was the second question? Because I couldn't hear.
I have to remember it. It like bounced out of my head.
Okay.
So I didn't understand. So kesheochel is when a food?
It's when a food, yeah.
When food.
If you say the, then it will be kasheochel, no, or something.
Yeah, but en lanu kelev rule. We don't have a kelev rule.
Right.
Not a kelev rule. Kshe is not a kelev.
So how would I say when the food?
So they would say kshe ha'ochel.
Sheha-ochel.
Kesheha.
Have to have a hey.
Kesheha.
And once we teach them kelev rule, it doesn't mean that they will never ever see the prefix letter. They will see the hey. It will still be there. For example, if I want to say sheha'ish, I want to say sheha'ish. Then I will do that the men. Okay, so you
I remembered.
So yes.
Sorry, I remembered. I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about two, like the two where it says to or for or in and whatever. That's where it means two things. What do you do when you have a student who learns it like that and then refuses to separate the two later on? Like it becomes like kind of an issue of, no, that means 2 for that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Can you teach them 2 or 4?
No, it doesn't even go to 2 or 4. He just 2 for. like 2/4, and
Yeah.
then he just refuses to let go of one of them in order to like.
Then I'll tell you what, if he is a first grader, then I'll let him have it, you know, because
Yeah.
not that he doesn't understand. He knows what the prefixes means. As he will grow,
Mhm.
it will just not make sense in his
Un
head.
poco, pero ya,
Now,
ya
it
vamos,
could be
ya vamos a salir.
that kid also, it could be that if you see the speech therapist, then you could bring it up
¿Sientes cansada por?
Yeah.
and talk about that.
That's a good point.
Right.
That's a good point. I think it's more a rigidity issue with them, but
sometimes they
I just wanted to know if there was any way to like.
Don't fight it.
Create the situation.
Right. Don't fight it. And it's not means that it's incorrect, because if it's correct on your control chart, then why are you telling me that it's not correct on my work, right? So it's for them. It just doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
But that's okay. As they will grow, then their mind, the safa, the language just will make sense. You can't say
That makes sense.
2, 4, right? They
Sure.
will just understand it. But yeah, I will just let it be and speak to other.
Okay.
If he sees any therapists, then you could talk about that with them.
Okay.
Okay, anyone has any questions? Anyone's hungry?
Yeah.
You guys are-
Who needs food?
I see Leah, there's a hand up.
For knowledge.
Leah, do you have a question? Oh, Leah is hungry.
I think she just wants to eat.
I'm sorry, I'm laying here on the floor with my baby, but I'm hungry.
Okay, go for it. So you guys can dismiss 40 minutes. We will be here at 1:05. 1:05.
Okay, no?
12:05 Mexico.
Okay,
Yeah,
5.
1:05 everywhere else.
That's
okay,
half
so
an hour, no?
40 minutes.
that's 40 minutes.
You have
Oh.
10 minutes to prepare and then 30
Mine
minutes
says
to eat.
36.
Okay.
Right.
Mine says 36. So that's why I was like, that's okay.
Okay.
No big deal. Half an hour is fine too. Doesn't matter.
No, we could do. You want to do 1:10?
No, really, it's totally fine. It's not like I'm going anywhere. I'm right here.
Good, Mary. Okay, so I'll see you guys soon. And Rabbi Lindell, you could stay here and I could brief you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so what? No problem. Okay, so what we learned just before, I gave them. Let me go back to my schedule. We went over the introduction of Chumash, so what you need to be mindful of when you teach Chumash, like what should be the goal of the lesson. And because it's not so rigid, right? Because when you come to learn Torah, like how do you even, how can I as a person give you training of how to teach Chumash? There is not set of rules. There is no concrete way. There is no rules like dikduk, like kelev rule, like kaf lamed bet plus this equals that. It's not like that. When you come to have limud Torah, is a lot more complex than that. So that's when I told them that I believe that limud Torah has to come from an emotional side. You have to connect the kids with emotions. And how do you do that? You get yourself excited about the lesson, right? Because maasim moshchim levavot, actions draw the heart. You need to show them how exciting and fun it is to learn Torah, and you do it throughout the day. So limud Torah doesn't happen at a certain hour of the day. It happens all the time. We're Jewish. We live it. We live the Torah. Derech chaim. So we do it. We could do it during playtime. It could be during circle time. It could be when after tefillah, when we know that one of our family members or a friend is not feeling well, then we're davening for him, right? So limud Torah happens all the time. Like we know that our friend is sick and we want to do bikur cholim because Avraham Avinu. We learned that in Parashat Vayera when HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'atzmo ba v'biker et Avraham Avinu, right? He spoke to Avraham Avinu when he was in the oil after Brit Milah, and then he saw how sad it was Avraham Avinu that no guests were coming. Then he sent the malachim. So you could teach them Torah all the time. And then I said that I want them to focus on 5 components, 5 goals that I see that is right. Again, you could have your goals. You could add to what, I'm just telling what is important for me as a teacher. And then basically I shared this. So these are the goals. Kriya, which is the technical thing. Havanat HaSafa, which is dikduk, another technical thing. Hakarat HaSipur v'chasifa la'omek, knowing the story and exposure to depth. Arachim v'chibur regshi, right? Midot and an emotional connection. Every lesson can have a few of these. Right? It could be that you're teaching them Parashat Vayera, and there's so many values that they could learn in Parashat Vayera, כמו ביקור חולים, זריזות למצוות, אמור מעט ועשה הרבה. There's so many values in one parasha, so you could teach them values, but at the same time, you also want them to have a connectional, emotional connection. How can you have an emotional connection? Is when you share stories, when you bring midrashim, where you kind of try to ask them questions that, how do you think this Avraham Avinu is feeling? He just had a brit milah. He's in pain. He's supposed to be resting. He's not. He's sitting. He's sad because Hashem sent a hot weather, so he won't be bothered by guests. Hashem see. How do you think Avraham Avinu is sitting waiting for Orchim? How do you think he feels? Right? He feels sad. He wants to see. Yes, he wants to do mitzvah. So that's the emotional connection. Right. So you can definitely watch our Zoom lesson because I go over each one, and it's more like instead of giving everybody a rigid plan of this is how you teach this, this is how you teach that, I kind of like give tips and tools of what you can incorporate in your lesson. Okay, so you're welcome to watch this because it will give you
okay, thank you. I was just wondering, the way you talk about teaching Chumash, so when you're giving a lesson, so to speak, in Chumash, are you doing it, are they reading the Psukim along with it, or is it done separately?
So I don't know how it is in your school, but in my school, we teach Chumash starts in 2nd grade. Right. Right? So we teach, so 2nd graders are more than capable reading Pasuk. But we're not using a regular Chumash. We're using a Montessori Chumash that we created with exactly following the method of the parts of speech, incorporating the parts of speech of Montessori. And I'm just looking for example of our Chumash. Sorry, for Kita Bet. And if you will be able to come in the afternoon, you will actually get a lesson from me that I will be giving 2nd graders, and I will try to incorporate a bunch of tools. It will look like a lesson that I will definitely not give 2nd graders because it would overwhelm them with all the things that I will be using. But I just want to give you as many tools that you can use in your lesson. So Parashat Lech Lecha, this is kind of like Chumash that we use for 2nd graders. You could see bubble letters, and even a hard concept like Lech Lecha, you're writing it exactly the same letters. Like, what do you mean that one means one verb and another one means preposition with the suffix cha? Like, how could it be? And then you show them. So this is how we use the Chumash. We teach parasha. We teach not parasha, sorry, Chumash. We teach them Parashat Lech Lecha and Parashat Vayera. That's a curriculum for our 1st graders, and the curriculum kind of looked like this, and I said that I would share this. I looked at each psukim in a perek, and I said, how can I make it into sub-content, sub-noseh, like sub-topic, right? So I realized that when you read Parashat Lech Lecha, Alef ad Vav, really, psukim Alef ad Vav really means Yetziat Avraham Mimoladeto, in a kuteret. So this gives me also a time frame that I know that 1st grader will get a lesson, 2nd graders will get a lesson about Perek Yud Bet. As you could see, 3 lessons. So I know that there is a lot of sometimes pressure on us from the administrations, from the next year teacher, to have them on time, right? To have them ready on time to the next topic, that the next class. But you have to make sure that that feeling of pressure is concealed within you. You're not putting any pressure on them, and that's a hard thing. But I feel like if you're using some sort of a guideline, then you can do it. Because you look at the schedule. I think in the afternoon I will show you. I will show everybody. I have a huge board in my living room. It has 52 weeks. So when I come to my school year, I plan the school year on a board, the whole school year. Everything is on the board, and then I can tweak and change it a little bit. But once you have everything set, because you're the prepared teacher, then everything will go. It would just minimize fires, minimize distractions. Okay.
So you separate, let's say, each subtopic within the parak they're learning.
Yeah,
so
and
those psukim, so they're going to be familiar with the Hebrew, with the psukim, reading the words and translating, and
they read the words, they break the. So this is because this Chumash Kita Bet is so clean and so easy on the eye. It's so easy for them. Instead, when you give them a Chumash and they're like, how? What is going on? Over here, you could show them. There is so many verbs that you already know. You know what amar means.
Right.
You're familiar with this shoresh amar. And you know that vav means and from last year, right? Prefixes. So that really brings me to the next topic that we learned. We learned about the Chumash for Kita Alef. So it starts with the lesson Sviva Muktenet Chumash, and it's on the playlist, right? Where Vihi bin Aaron, the teacher comes with the Torah, peels off letters, nouns from the Chumash, and that's when you get them familiar with words that they will later on see in the Chumash.
I watched that one, yeah.
Right, Be'er, Eved, you practice, enhance their vocabulary, and then when they come to Chumash, they already know a lot of the words. So even when you translate words from the Chumash, you get to the point and you say, Goy v'aschale goy gadol. They come and they say, Goy, means someone not Jewish. And I said, well, Goy actually here, it means, what is And they say, like Israel, nation. So instead of me just saying, translate from Hebrew to English, it's so easy, you will translate from Hebrew to Hebrew and let them get the English, okay? Like nefesh, I won't translate it to soul. I would say neshama. Neshama, teora, אנחנו אומרים את זה בתפילה. They know it. Okay, so after that, I basically gave them a breakdown of 4 lessons that would happen after Sviva Muktenet. And that's basically the prefixes. And then we moved on. That's when you joined and you heard us saying over and over, the Kelev rule. So I was so sure that I uploaded to my playlist, but I didn't. And the Kelev rule basically means when you have the prefixes Kaf, Lamed, and Bet with the Nekudot, Patach, Kamatz, and Segol, that means as if there is a Hey.
Also the Hey, right?
Right, but the prefixes ate the Hey, just like Kelev eats his food. The prefix ate the Hey and took away the Nekuda.
Okay.
That's a very cute, sweet concept for them to understand. And Kelev, why do we use Kelev? Because those are the prefixes that we see the Hey hiding under. And it's easy word. They learn it in primary. So, and that's it. So I hope I caught you up to it.
Right. Yes. So you would do a few psukim inside the Chumash with them, with the reading, the translating, understanding the words, and then some of the lessons and like the emotional things will come after that. It will come along with it. That we do it separately or together.
With it, the regesh is always there. Yeah, you're chaverim. ברוכים הבאים לשיעור חומש. You always say,
היום. Right. Okay.
Right. You mean the other. Then
but the specific lessons you're trying to learn, that they're trying to bring out about the midos of Avraham Avinu. So those you do that as a separate lesson. You do that together while they're translating the psukim.
Together. So today I actually will show you in Parashat Lech Lecha, and I will do for Kita Bet, and then I'll do Kita
Okay.
Gimel, and you'd see in Vayera how I do it, how I bring
Okay.
the emotions. Another thing that I said, you would probably see me using this in my lesson today. When we say to them, break the word, we mean break the word. So if you have a word like this, that can be very overwhelming, especially if it's all in black.
Right.
But if they get see it, me, from, cha, suffix your, gmalei, we have a plural yud, so it means camels, right? This means camels,
Right.
from your camels, from your camel. So all this word is not overwhelming anymore because it's manageable. And
Right.
that's why we use our Kitabet Chumash. Because when we practice it over and over and over again, you start to see it in colors. My daughter is a fourth grader. She said, I just see it in colors. So it's just something in there, like Vayomer doesn't look like Vayomer, black ink to her. It's all of a sudden, oh no, there is Vava Chibur, but it's not Vava Chibur, it's Vava Hipuch, because he said. So that's how they see it, which is wonderful, I think. So yeah, I do all the tools. I depends what my goal is, but the emotion is always there. You're enthusiastic, you show regesh, you show emotion, it's like you wear your feelings on the sleeve, like you come with those emotions. If they ask a question, then you know that Rashi asks the same question, you say, אתה תלמיד חכם, זה מדהים. Because Rashi asked the same question. So that kind of blow their mind, because like, how can I ask a question that Rashi asked? So you make it very, they're a developmental stage. Okay, so.
Okay, great.
I hope that was clear.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's helpful.
You're more than welcome to watch the recording once I upload it, because it's still, I think it's still rolling.
Yeah.
And you can just, there's a lot of parts that would not be relevant. But yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Okay.